Well, good morning and welcome to this week's edition of Four Wheels in a Seat. I'm Alex Dalrymple. This is my channel where I review new cars every week in a pretty simple, easy to understand, straightforward manner for people who might be looking for a new car and don't know which way to turn. You don't want to miss an episode though, so please do hit the subscribe button down below, the notification bell, and if you enjoy the video, please do give me a like. Today I'm back in the MG4. This time it's the XPOWER, the fast version of the MG4. I reviewed the regular MG4 a few months ago. You can check out that review by clicking the link up there. Or is it there? No, pretty sure it's there. In that video I did a bit of a deeper dive into the external appearance and dimensions of this car. This particular XPOWER is pretty much the same, so if you want to look at all of that, check out the video for more. But there are a few key differences between the regular MG4 and the XPOWER, most notably being the larger 18-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels with big yellow brake calipers that are branded, and also this car gets a matte paint finish, which you may or may not like. I think in this particular shade of hunter green it actually looks pretty good. But my favourite design feature, of course, is the cool LED light display on the back lip of the, well, it's not really a spoiler, but it's sort of a flat area there at the back of the boot. I just think that looks pretty cool. But the main difference, of course, between the regular version and this XPOWER model is the powertrain, with this car getting an extra electric motor, making it all-wheel drive and outputting 300 kilowatts of power and 600 newton meters of torque, shooting this car to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.8 seconds. That is fast. A full charge will get you 400 kilometers of range, and you can charge to 80% at a high-speed public charger in about 28 minutes. The interior of the XPOWER, pretty much the same as the regular version, so it's kind of minimal, maybe just a little bit too minimal for me, with pretty much everything running through the 10.25-inch center console screen. The software on it is very good, certainly better than the original software that MG rolled out with, and it does everything you need. There's digital radio, native navigation, there's Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it's not wireless, you will need a USB cable, not really a huge problem, and there is also live weather information. The picture on the screen is nice and sharp, it's pretty clear. Not so much when you're using the reversing camera, but the sound system is unbranded. It has 6 speakers, and actually it sounds really good. But the fact that pretty much everything runs through this center console screen, including the climate control, means that there's very few buttons in here, and to really do anything at all, you do have to do it through the screen. If there were just a few more buttons for some frequently used things like being able to change the temperature, for example, that might be better, and also putting the car into one pedal driving. I wish that there was a button for that, but you've got to go through the screen to do it. Just a few extra buttons would be nice. There's wireless phone charging under that, or at least apparently there is. It doesn't seem to work on my phone at all, and I think that's actually an Apple iPhone issue because of its cameras that stick out. It stops it from making proper contact with the charging pad, so for me it just doesn't work at all. We've got the same dial here that works as a gear shifter, park brake, big open space here underneath that, where down low here there's a couple of cup holders and a little slidey cubby there. A couple of USB ports as well, USB-C and USB-A. Armrest with a okay sized center console bin and a bit of a flimsy sort of holder of some sort here. I don't know what you'd keep in that, maybe some leaflets or pamphlets or something. In front of the driver is a small 7-inch digital instrument cluster. There's a lot of information packed into this screen and not a lot of room to display it on. I wish it was just a bit bigger and things were just set out a bit more clearly, because it's just not easy at a glance to look at some of this information. There's no lack of information, it's just not particularly well displayed in my opinion. The steering wheel though, I really do like. I like the flat top, the flat bottom, it has a good feel. There's some customizable toggle switches here that you can alter in the center console screen to have various functions. Generally speaking, the audio controls are on the right though, and the adaptive cruise controls are here on the left. The design in the cabin is quite nice, I like it. Minimal, of course. A bit of hard plastic used. I mean, you're kind of getting what you're paying for. This is not an expensive car, so while the fit and finish is not bad, there is better to be found. A bit of soft touch up here on top. The rest is kind of plasticky though. But, you know, having said that, it feels quite nice. The seats are PU leather, which I assume is some sort of synthetic leather, and Alcantara. They feel really nice, actually. There's heating and electric adjustment for the driver. Passenger is manual, and the seating position's pretty good. Good visibility in front of the driver at least, but the bonnet does kind of drop down to a very low point, so you can't really see the front of the car very clearly. And you're not seeing an awful lot out through the rear vision mirror, through the rear window either, mainly because of the rear headrests. Good visibility in the wing mirrors though, and there's blind spot monitors in those too. So on the road, the XPOWER certainly does feel a lot more eager to go quickly than the regular MG4, and that's to be expected because there's a lot more power. Plus there's also all-wheel drive, so it does feel a lot more well planted to the road, especially when you're cornering at speed. But having said that, yesterday it was a little bit wet, and I was going up a stretch of road where there was sort of like a painted speed sign on the road, and the car momentarily lost grip at the rear, and suddenly I just felt like I lost the rear end altogether for just a split second. It was really quite unsettling, but that is a slightly unusual situation to be in, admittedly. But other than that, dynamically this car is brilliant. The MG4 XPOWER also has regenerative braking. There's 4 different levels of it. In its highest level, you can pretty much just do one pedal driving, which I'm a big fan of. The only thing is, you have to turn it on every single trip, which is a little bit annoying. It's a few extra button pushes here on the screen, but I mean, I use it for every trip. I wish I didn't have to turn it on every time I get in the car, but that's a relatively minor annoyance, I suppose. Again, just going back to the lack of physical controls in this car, you can't change the drive modes without, again, going into the screen, and I just wish that was something you could do with a switch or a dial down here in the center console. So the drive modes are Snow, Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom, where you can customize your own drive mode. Normal is just fine around the city. You really don't need to be putting it into Sport because the car does get a little bit jumpy. Going into the custom mode, you can change the horsepower, steering and pedal force, plus the amount of energy recovery from the regenerative braking. The MG Pilot screen allows you to change a number of the automated safety features of the car. In fact, there's quite a few to go through, including front collision alert, door open alert, blind spot detection, traffic sign recognition, the driver assist system. It goes on and on. Generally speaking, I think it's probably best to leave most of them on. The MG4 is also really quiet. The only real noise is a bit of road noise, but that really depends on what surface you're driving on as to how loud that is. So, generally speaking, it is a very quiet cabin. The noisiest thing is probably the indicator. 0 to 100 in the MG4 XPOWER is 3.8 seconds according to MG, so let's see what that feels like. Here we go. Oh my God! Oh boy, yeah, that was fun. That just really slams you into the back of the seat. That's as good as anything you're going to find anywhere. Well, with the automotive world aiming to go pretty much 100% electric in the next 10 years or so, it's going to be cars like this that are going to be the Hyundai i30Ns and Honda Civic Type Rs of the future. And at under $60,000 with a 10-year warranty, you know, I think the future's actually looking pretty exciting.